Welcome to the Ask the Question project. At what age were you when you first thought about suicide?
6 years old.
Wow.
Um, I didn't have a lot of support, and um, most of the people in my life were very negative, had addictions, uh, didn't really put a lot of value on, I guess, nurturing a child. That was my first sexual assault in my house. I was around 6, I think, and so I think that was just the last thing I could take.
How did you find a way to cope and connect?
I didn't. My first suicide attempt, I was 8 years old, so that just kind of, I mean, the abuse didn't stop, and I just, I felt worthless, and I decided to just check out. The moment you start talking about it, everybody just shuts down, like, I don't want to hear that. Oh my God. Um, and I've always been kind of a strong person, or seemed like a strong person, and I've always been the caretaker, taking care of other people. And I think people get a preconceived notion about people like that and think, oh, they're fine. When I finally got help, it was probably uh, when Sean and I got together, and here's somebody that loved me unconditionally for who I was, totally who I was. That's really when I started to truly heal. I'd worked on it a ways, but this was in my early 30s, I guess. And I went to therapy. I got on some medication that helped me just get through the phase of trying to just get through the day. He listens to me when I talk and hears my stories and doesn't judge me. And I think that's what people need.
Do you see value in speaking openly about a painful personal experience?
It's not easy to put yourself out there, but I don't think you can get the full picture of an issue until you have people that have experienced it speaking out and telling you what it was like for them.
You mentioned earlier that you wanted to do this because you want it to be helpful
Yes.
for people who struggle. And you also mentioned racism as being part of what you've struggled with. Sean, you also mentioned that you have an understanding. I felt like a shared understanding about something that's been difficult.
Well, I don't fully understand how that's impacted her as a younger person or everything, but I do know equality is huge with her, which is why I think it should be in this,
Yeah.
because it's a huge part of who she is and what um, drove her to part of what we're discussing here.
It's really hard to be the one person that's all for equality in a family of people that aren't. In a family of people who are openly, horribly racist and hateful and use their religion as a reason to discriminate against homosexuals or whatever. I mean, it's you're constantly getting that pounded in your head, and you know that it's not right, and it just messes with your sense of self when you know that's not right, but everyone's telling you that's the way it's supposed to be.
Is there anything that you both would want to share in terms of what would be important for people to understand about having support?
I can just see that I would have gone on in the same cycle of destructive relationships because I felt worthless and, letting other people dictate who I was with their opinions of me. And I would have probably continued that cycle. I don't know. Um, and you finally get someone in your life who 100% supports you and proves that they're going to stay even when you're at your worst. Because trust me, I tested that out, as a lot of us will do. Um, it's invaluable. There's nothing more important.
For those who have attempted suicide, such as yourself, and survived, what would you say to others who struggle with suicidal thoughts?
I think making
Yeah.
sure people know that these are all things that were done to them. They're not things that they need to own and feel responsible for. I mean, even chemical imbalances in the brain. it's not your fault. That's just something that you have to deal with now. And, you know, there's a modality for dealing with each one of these avenues that leads us to suicide. You just need to get the support to get you there and to help you connect with those things.
This project is a collaboration between the storytellers and the artistic team, Mike Crenshaw and Julie Keith. Editing and accessibility by Cheryl Green. Funding for the project has been provided by Artworks, Clackamas County Cultural Coalition, and Oregon Humanities. Thank you to our partners, Clackamas County and The Living Room.